E aí, meu povo, bem-vindo de volta a Final Fantasy XVI. A gente tem umas missões secundárias, também tem algumas caçadas. Eu não sei se tem algumas que tem a classe S, mas eu não vou nelas por enquanto. Só chama C ou B. Beleza, vamos começar logo por aqui. Essa maloqueira. Esse aqui, lê. A receita.
You put me in this situation, Clive. You can bloody well get me out of it. I need a hand with a recipe.
Are you sure it's me you're looking for? I'm not much of a cook.
I'm all the cook will be needing, thank you very much. What I want from you is a little of your time, right? Oh, and perhaps your sword. You remember Ivan's stew, right? Well, despite the look of the thing, and that awful stench, people wolf it down. So I thought I'd try making one of these supposed masterpieces myself. Had a peek at the book and gave it a go, but...
It wasn't as straightforward as you'd hoped. Ivan had the same problem.
Yeah, but this is my blooming kitchen, and I will not be outdone. So if you don't want to be seen as playing favourites, I suggest you lend me a hand.
I've never been one to play favourites, Molly. And I would be only too happy to lend you a hand. So, what's on the menu this time?
A fried mortress of skyworm. That's one heck of a name, innit? Recipe seemed easy enough to an old hand like myself. Thought I'd followed it to a T. Only, turns out skyworm livers and drake's mint are not what I thought they were. At least I hope they're not.
Ivan said the recipes in the culinary pilgrimage date back centuries. Who's to say the ingredients even exist anymore?
Wow. That's a question for a scholar, wouldn't you say? Perhaps you know of one? Kindly old fella who haunts the shelves, maybe?
Fine. I'll go and speak to Harpocrates, and if he does, I'll see if I can find your ingredients for you.
You do that. Lest we forget, you've got a reputation to uphold.
Pessoal, além de ser cozinheiro, ele deveria também aprender a usar espada. Se Clive não tivesse aqui, tá lascado.
Is a storm coming soon? Will there be thunder?
Lawsman Harpocrates, I've come to pick your brain if you don't mind. It's about the book you lent Ivan.
Ah, Valisthea, A Culinary Pilgrimage, a classic. The young man did a wonderful job with the Chance's stew. I do hope we shall be able to sample more such marvels in due course.
That's actually why I'm here. I don't suppose you know where I might find skyworm livers and drake's mint.
Ah, so the fabled Sanbrequois delicacy is next on the menu. Delightful. The descriptions of fried mortress never fail to make my mouth water. Now, skyworm is a somewhat antiquated name for the wyvern, their ground livers being the paste from which the mortress is made.
Dragon livers. How very Sanbrequois.
One would have thought the disciples of Bahamut would have a touch more reverence for their Eikon's brethren, but apparently not. I believe the specific dragon the recipe demands is the blueback wyvern, said to be the very color of the sea beside which it resides.
So we know where to look for our liver. But what about the drake's mint?
Saint's bonnet in contemporary parlance, a herb which grows along the North Reach coast. I gather that one can locate the cheerful yellow flowers by their heady scent alone, so I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding them. I may add that people once believed game was best served with the flora that sustained it in life, in which regard fried mortress of skyworm is undoubtedly a typical dish of the time.
Meaning that if I find one, I find the other. To Northreach, then.
Best of luck, Clive, and do save me a bite once the dish is complete.
Beleza, rincão. Ué, não pode? Oh, que onda. Devia ter olhado o mapa antes. Ver se eu consigo viajar e eu posso voltar. Bem que eu tô rindo. Vou chamar de falar com o Otto que acabam indo já direto pra lá. capa e adaga. Esquece.
It's like a dream. The four of us out walking like we used to.
Enjoying this, are you? Gav and the others could be in danger as we speak.
You're right. I'm sorry. Yote is a fine scout. If Canva was attacked, she will already have begun gathering information.
Tabor isn't far. We should pick up the pace.
We can use the ruins to cross the ravine.
Assuming they would allow it, the echoes have a will of their own.
Ó, nível de vocês, 33.
Tell us about Yote, Joshua.
She's strong-willed, loyal, and deadly with a blade. Much like Clive, but with better manners.
Mercador, será que é uma coisa interessante?
I do. Where are you off to now then? Bound for the Free Cities, perhaps? Oh, no need to say if you'd rather not. We all have our reasons. Ain't exactly feeling like sharing with strangers myself at the mo. Truth be told, I could do with a bit of inspiration. Don't know which way to turn no more. Was doing a roaring trade back in Oriflamme. Right up until the poor Drake lost her noggin. So, thought I'd try me luck in the desert. Then the Fang went the same way. And don't get me started on the mess in the bloomin' Dominion. Suppose I could try Canberra next. But knowing my luck, the old place would be crawling with the works before I'd even sat out me stall. But as I always say, where there's crisis, there's opportunity. The opportunity to mint gil, that is. So, where to next? Is there any money to be made?
Medo que ela é chato.
Dorks even carry gil. Good girl. Fly, Ambrosia.
Another ether flood. They're everywhere now.
We can't go round it.
Then we'll just have to be careful.
Whoa.
We're nearly there.
Have you been to Tabor before?
There are a few places I haven't.
Where now, Joshua?
There is a residence just inside the city gates. She awaits us within.
My Lord Marquis, it is an honor. I am Yote, Knight of the Undying, charged with the protection of His Grace Joshua Rosfield, Keeper of the Flame of the Phoenix.
Of course. It all makes sense now.
Would you care to elaborate?
The Undying are loyal servants to the ducal throne. or more specifically, to its heir. They have served our family for generations, albeit from the shadows.
Since their inception, they have been tasked with the preservation and enactment of the rites of ancestral communion. After the events at Phoenix Gate, it was the Undying who delivered me to safety. And since the day I left Rosaria, Yotei has been my constant companion and protector. Without her sword, I would not have survived my journey across the realm.
Rise, Lady Yotei. You saved my brother. I owe you a debt I can never repay.
I but did my duty.
Come now. Tell us what you've discovered.
Your Grace. It is as you feared. The vessel we spied off the coast of the Crystalline Dominion on the night of her fall. It was the Einherjar. Beyond any doubt.
The Black Galleon.
Joshua, the Einherjar is the Royalists' flagship. What business would they have in the Dominion?
Upon learning of Waloed's involvement in recent events at Drake's Fang, I sensed the malign influence of Ultima, and bid Yotei and the Undying look into the matter.
We have reason to believe that the Black Galleon weighed anchor shortly after the fighting began, and set a course due south.
For Canva. Then it is Waloed knights who besiege the cities.
What is left of them, yes. And the Black Galleon sails at but one man's behest. Barnabas Tharm.
But are we truly safe here in the Agora?
The city guard have been paid, if that's what you're implying.
All the more reason for them to run.
Well, you are free to leave, Lord Minister.
Markets abandoned, warehouses aflame, blackened hulls choking every port in the capital. Canva is ruined.
The realm teeters on the brink of chaos, and all you can think about is commerce!
Forgive us! We were not aware Dhalmekia now subsisted on charity!
Quite.
How dare you!
Distinguished members of the Council, you must forgive His Majesty this intrusion.
What is the meaning of this?
A trifle crowded, but I fear it will have to serve, my liege.
Very well.
My colleagues, do you not see? The King! He has come to save us from the Akashic! He is a gift from the heavens, divine intervention, our very salvation.
And of course, if it is compensation he requires, we would be most willing to negotiate a fair price for services rendered.
Fools! Your ignorance unbecomes you.
Your Majesty, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would swear that the fiends washing the cobbles of Canva with the blood of her citizens wear the colors of Waloed. Ha! So you do not deny it. Guards, fetter them, and see our guests to the dungeons!
Enough. Pathetic creatures. That you should imagine yourselves worthy of salvation.
The girl is still here, somewhere in the city. Her consciousness fair dripping with her late father's hubris. A consciousness to which Mythos is inextricably bound and inexorably drawn. See that he is made welcome.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Come, Mythos. Surely the prince's light cannot have sated you.
Giro de espada acabou com o problema dos ministros.
So then, how long has Waloed been under Ultima's control?
How long indeed? Based on what we know of Barnabas's actions, I would guess some few years, mayhap more.
But to what end? What does Ultima want?
The tapestry. Show them.
By the flames.
Phoenix Gate, Drake's Breath, and now here. But what is it?
It is old, ancient, even. Naught remains of the faith it represents, save what can be gleaned from the image itself. None could tell me what the one in the apothecary meant, even the Undying. But I believe it may be the key to discerning Ultima's purpose. That figure in the center, the one beneath whom the icons congregate, that I believe to be Ultima. He is a god, or at least godlike. His very existence beyond our ken. The icons, and by extension their dominants, are meant to be his subjects, and while some, like Barnabas, have accepted this role, others have rejected it. Like you, Clive, which is rather inconvenient, as it appears he needs you most of all. And gods don't like to be disobeyed.
No, I don't suppose they do.
Clive, may I tell Yote of the lake?
By all means.
Yote, I will be accompanying my brother to the Free Cities. Whilst we are afield, I would have you watch over those Clive has made his wards. Umielos delan tu isag ilith. Though well concealed, the hideaway lacks trained fighters to defend its occupants should they be discovered.
But it is my duty to...
As it has ever been my brother's duty, remember.
If that is your wish, Your Grace. But please be safe. If aught were to befall you,
You have my word.
Farewell, my lord, my lady.
We are in your debt, Yote.
Let's find our friends.
A última, acho que tá faltando. Ah, é Odin. Ah, mas Odin. Não, quem é Odin? Sim. Não lembro.
It's plain she cares for you very deeply.
Reabriu. Mas tem muita missão. Secundário.
And I her.
3 aqui, 4 lá. Lá no esconderijo. Tem que ir. Ah, viajando, obviamente. Não, é. É.
I had to let her go.
Beleza, deixa eu logo então nessa outra missão que eu já tava fazer. Tem a capô, encanto aqui. Nem vi qual é o nome aqui, tá estranho. Tabor. Eu mudei algumas coisas, tava cansado de usar minhas habilidades. Tem aquele giro da Fênix. Mudei o poder de... qual é o nome dele? Bahamut. Eu tô lá pro lado certo? Tô. É bem rosado, né?
To the meadows, then.
Botei em capuz da Santa e derrote um Wyvern.
Thanks, girl.
Oh, não mudei. Vai ser colocado já. O pouco eu não coloquei. Eu sabendo, eu não sabia que essa mega flama é só esquivar. Agora ela meteu louco. Como é que um grupo maior? Ei, doido, sai disso.
Hippocrates said I should be able to find what I'm looking for somewhere nearby. Bright blue dragons and bright yellow flowers. Should be easy enough to spot.
Esse aqui deve ser o Wyvern. Corda. Aí. Vou fazer logo essa troca aqui. Ah, sério mesmo?
This must be our wyvern. Right. Let's get this over with.
Se lascou o inimigo. Fígado e garra.
That's the wyvern's liver.
Certo. Vamos lá. Esconde. Tu fica por isso mesmo e tu... esse sopro. essa bolinha aqui. Elite. Eu quero agora só ver uma coisa. Magia, tá. Mesmo que Clive esteja se recuperando, posso lançar a pressão em triângulo para enviar o satélite ao ataque. Pode ser usado ao lançar o Mega Flama. 55 tempo. Mega Flama, Giga Flama, Mega Flama. Não. Isso é uma subida, né? Foi aqui, achei esse daqui, que esquivando. Executar, eu não sabia disso. Eu tava esperando carregar normalmente, fica longe do inimigo. Mas esquivando preenche rapidamente o medidor de lançamento.
Now I just need to find the herbs. Bright yellow with a heady scent. I think that's everything Molly needs to resurrect her recipe. Better head back.
Será que vai ser outra desgraça igual o que o doidinho ali criou?
Seems the hideaway's lost its appetite. So, did you have that word with Tomes then?
I did, and he was as helpful as ever. He told me exactly where to look, in fact.
And what precisely will I be cooking up? Or is it better not to know?
Blueback wyvern liver. And, a herb known as Saint's Bonnet.
Ah, wyvern livers, was it? Well, at least it weren't actual worms, I suppose. Now then, you stay right where you are. I've got some cooking to do. Let's hope these grand old chefs of yore knew what they were on about. And here we have it. Fried mortress of skyworm. Ivan's offered to make sure it's fit for consumption. Well, I say offered. He as good as begged.
And rightly so. Is there any higher honor than partaking in a slice of culinary history?
So, not fit for consumption then?
What witchery is this? The crackle of the crust gives way to an almost violent richness. Yet, it is the piquant kiss of the saint's bonnet that tames this savage dish. It is a tour de force. A force of nature, even. A maelstrom of flavor and sensation. A graceful beast emerging from centuries of slumber.
I think he likes it.
Well, I can't quite tell with all that nonsense he's talking. But I reckon you might be right. It was decent then.
Decent? It's remarkable. And I defy any man to say a word to the contrary. Cid, might I suggest that you command a party of your finest men and women to procure a dozen blueback wyverns forthwith?
I'll give it some thought.
Falando nisso, nunca mais comi uma comida diferente. Sacanagem. Beleza, meu povo, depois dessa receita muito louca, vou parando por aqui. Não posso meter mais, missões secundárias, bem mais. Então é isso, vem em breve com mais Final Fantasy